Happy Friday, everybody. The weekend is here. It's upon us. And I am here to give you a video. Welcome back, friends. It's Anders. Today, we have got a fun list of 5 rum cocktails. Now, these are 5 of my favorites, although, truth be told, I've got probably 100 favorite rum drinks. We've got a lineup of a little bit of something for everybody. Stirred, shaken, tiki. I'm looking forward to sipping on some rum cocktails. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button for more sips, tips, and recipes, and let's make 5 rum cocktails to the bar. Today's video is sponsored by Grubhub. Grubhub are the takeout experts diners trust because they offer meals they want from the restaurant they love and reliable delivery. And today, I'm here to tell you, Grubhub now delivers alcohol. This is great news. Let's say you're having a guest over and you want to show off your bartending skills, and you are missing the vermouth for your Manhattans. Now, maybe this guest is a bit of a cocktail snob. I don't know, maybe they're a cocktail writer. They're a critic. Fret not, for Grubhub has your back. Log onto the app, order what you want, then Grubhub will pick it up from the store of your choice and deliver it right to your door. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Crisis averted. Now you can have a classy party without a hitch, even with the most sophisticated of guests. Use the link in my description box below and order your favorite spirits on Grubhub today. Have yourself a drink. Responsibly, of course. Turns out this particular guest was more interested in the bar snacks than the drinks. Oh well, 2 for me. Also, dogs shouldn't have alcohol. That was pretend. Thanks, Grubhub. Back to the film. Here we go, starting with number 1. Well, before we jump in, I want to say that the classic daiquiri is not on this list. I admit the daiquiri is near perfection. It's absolutely wonderful, but it was too predictable. So I decided to go with one of my favorite daiquiri riffs, the Doctor. An interesting tidbit about the Doctor, though, this was never meant to be a daiquiri riff. In fact, the earliest recipes didn't have rum involved. My version, I added in the rum. To make it, we're gonna wanna shake in a shaking tin 1 ounce of Jamaican rum. To that, add 3/4 of an ounce of Swedish Punsch. If you're not familiar with Swedish Punsch, it's a Nordic spiced liqueur. Add 3/4 of an ounce of fresh lime juice, 1/2 ounce of a rich Demerara syrup, and 2 dashes of Angostura Bitters. If you have a smaller dasher bottle, double up 4 dashes. Give that a shake, about 10-15 seconds or so, double strain into a chilled coupe. No garnish necessary. There we have the Doctor. Cheers. I don't know in this light, does it match my shirt? I feel like,
it's darker.
Oh, it's darker than my shirt. Cheers. Oh wow, that's a great drink. I'm gonna say this is my favorite daiquiri riff, because it's the one in front of me. Get the brightness of a daiquiri, you get the bold Jamaican rum flavor, and then the Swedish Punch is that extra punch you need in this drink. It gives it a little bit of spice, it gives it some interest, it gives it depth. And I can't explain to you in better words other than phenomenal. This is the Swedish Punch that I have. You might be thinking, all right, Anders, if I pick up this bottle and I'm drinking Doctors, what else can I have with it? You can drink it on its own. But I'm gonna tell you, you try one of these Doctors and you're probably gonna go through your entire bottle of Swedish Punch. All right, on to number 2. The Queen's Park Swizzle. This is for all of you mojito fans out there, and I include myself in that grouping. This one is just a bit more interesting. It's a bit more complicated, and it comes from the Queen's Park Hotel down in Trinidad. It's a beautiful drink. We're gonna make this one right in a Collins glass. We're gonna add a lot of mint leaves. I've got probably 8.5. Drop them right into the glass. If you want, you can smack those to release the oils, but you don't have to, because we drop it in the glass and with a bar spoon, give those a little tap to release some of the oils. And then my little secret, I like to pull the mint leaves up along the inside of the glass. You might be asking, hey, can I use a muddler for this bit? Of course you can. But personally, I find that to be a bit barbaric. Once you have coated the inside of the glass with that mint, we can add 1/2 ounce of a rich Demerara syrup, 2 parts sugar to 1 part water, 3/4 of an ounce of fresh lime juice, and 2 ounces of a Demerara rum. Mix that up, get everything incorporated, and then go ahead and drop in some crushed ice. We're gonna fill this most of the way with crushed ice because we are gonna do a swizzling technique. Now, if you have a swizzle stick, bust it out and use it now, but you don't have to have a swizzle stick. You can use a bar spoon. To swizzle like a professional, do like this. Watch and do. Using the spoon, pretend you are making a fire the old-fashioned way. Twisty, twisty, up and down. Try to keep most of the mint on the bottom. If you do get some of the mint that floats up into the glass, that's gonna be fine. But for presentation's sake, we wanna keep most of the mint right on the bottom. You'll know when it's ready when the glass is frosty. Top it off with some more crushed ice, and we are going to float a good layer of Angostura Bitters on top here. 4 to 6 dashes from a big bottle. I always just eyeball it though. In this drink, I would say no substitute. The drink came from Trinidad. Angostura Bitters hails from Trinidad. Garnish with a big sprig of mint. Wake it up, break up those oils, drop in a straw. Isn't that beautiful? There we have the Queen's Park Swizzle. Cheers. Oh wow. I'm gonna be honest, this is not one I make all the time because it's a little bit more involved. This one I think of as a treat. As you drink it, you're gonna get a little bit more and more of that Angostura Bitters, so it finishes off with these warm spices of clove and cinnamon, but at first you get that lime, the rich rum, and mint. If you like a mojito, you are gonna love this one. Number 3, the Mary Pickford. Truth be told, when I first had this cocktail, I did not like it at all. But we workshopped it, and now it is one of my favorites. So to make my version of the Mary Pickford, start in a shaking tin with 1.5 ounces of rum. I like a good full flavored rum here. I'm using Probitas. If you're outside the US, it's called Veritas, but traditionally it would have been a light Cuban style rum. To that, add 1.5 ounces of fresh pineapple juice. Fresh is key here. 1/4 ounce of grenadine, 1/4 ounce of fresh lime juice, and 1/4 ounce of Allspice liqueur. Then we can add half a bar spoon, it's like 2.5 milliliters, a very small amount of maraschino liqueur. Add ice and shake, 10 to 15 seconds or so, double strain into a chilled cocktail glass. And for garnish, we're gonna do some pineapple fronds, use a small cocktail clip if you have it, and a cherry. Cheers. Don't poke your eye out, mind the fronds. The fresh pineapple juice really stands out with this bold flavor of rum, and then you're left with a little bit of that allspice, which complements the pineapple. On the verge of tiki here, and a great texture because of that pineapple, a little frothiness. Every time I buy a new pineapple, a fresh pineapple, I pluck those pineapple fronds, make sure they're clean, and then I pop them in a freezer bag and I freeze them. Then if I ever want to garnish with pineapple fronds, I have them. Food for thought. On to Number 4, the Shrunken Skull. Yes, I had to include a true tiki on this menu. I love it for a couple of reasons. Number 1, its simplicity. This is an all equal parts drink. There aren't a bazillion ingredients. Also, the other thing I really like about this drink is it illustrates how different rums complement each other. To make this Shrunken Skull in a shaken tin, start with 1 ounce of a Demerara Rum. That's a bold, richer rum. To that, add 1 ounce of a Puerto Rican rum, or a light gold rum. 1 ounce of grenadine. I would recommend homemade here. Quality grenadine is important in this drink. It makes or breaks this cocktail. Then add 1 ounce of fresh lime juice. Add a couple scoops of crushed ice. Give it a real quick shake, about 5 seconds, just to incorporate everything. We don't want to overly dilute this. And open pour into your favorite tropical themed glass. Top it off with more crushed ice if you'd like. Garnish with pineapple fronds and a cocktail bumbershoot. That's going to keep the sun away from your fresh crushed ice. And there we have the Shrunken Skull. Cheers. Bright, refreshing flavors from the lime and the pomegranate, rich flavors of the rum. One thing I love about this drink is the good grenadine I am using. It's homemade. You want to taste that tart pomegranate. Do not cut corners with grenadine here. I cannot emphasize that enough. On to the final rum concoction of this day, of this video. This is one that we are not going to be shaking. We're going to be stirring it. It's going to be a refined, elegant cocktail known as El Presidente. In a mixing glass, start with 1.5 ounces of rum. Again, I'm using the Probitas. I like its bold flavor, but you can use a light rum here as well. To that, add 3/4 ounce of Blanc vermouth. I personally like the Blanc vermouth, but you can use a dry vermouth. That is acceptable. Add 1/4 ounce of Curacao and a bar spoon of that good quality grenadine that you just made for the Shrunken Skull. Give that a stir, about 30 seconds or so. Strain off into a cocktail glass, express orange oil across the top, and garnish with an orange peel and a cocktail cherry. El Presidente. Cheers. Who said you can't have a classy rum cocktail? This is like the Cuban Manhattan. Cheers. Oh, that's good. That is really good. I highly recommend the Probitas or Veritas, depending on the market that you live in. It works great in this drink. You get this evolution of the rum and a creaminess from the vermouth, also a slight herbal component that you get kind of at the end. And then the orange, I get mostly on the nose. It's more of just kind of like a nice sweet note. One of the best cocktails I've ever made. Whoever came up with this lineup, they deserve a cocktail. Or 5. There we are. Let me know in the comments down below which ones you're gonna make. As always, enjoy responsibly. Thank you, Grubhub, for sponsoring today's film. Thank you for watching the film, and I will see you next time. I've got nothing else to say. I think that's it. Goodbye.